Okay, in this video we are going to apply that formula of volume of prisms that we did the starburst activity with, and we are going to find the volume of a few different prisms. Okay, volume is the amount of space inside of a 3D object. We can make prisms by stretching the shape of the base in a third direction. So what that means is I can take this rectangle and I can turn it into a prism by stretching it out. And then I can connect those side lengths. And now I have a prism. I'm going to color in the original shape though, lightly. That's the original shape that we started with, and we stretched it out back here. We stretched it from here to the back right there. So we're actually going to call that, the length that it was stretched, the height of the prism. The line going from one base to the other base is the height of a prism. So now we're going to look at this triangle and let's stretch this into a prism. Okay. I extended the lines, and we can go ahead and extend the third line. I'm going to use the dash line there. And I'll color in this base as well. So I took this triangle and I stretched it from here to here. So that distance is the height. Now what that means is that this is the base. So if you were to find the area of that shape, you would call that big B. And remember what's happening when we're finding volume is we're really just saying, what is this one big B? And then we're going to stack it on top of itself for as many H's as there are, as much as the height is. So this would be a B, another B, another B, another B, and we're adding that all together. We're repeatedly stacking that same base shape, so I can add repeatedly what big B is, or repeatedly adding is just multiplying. So we can multiply that capital B as far as it was stretched. Now we said as far as it was stretched from one base to the other base where we ended, as far as we stretched it was called the height of the prism. So we can multiply the area of the base, capital B, times how long it was stretched, H. That goes from base to base. And we'll see that gets us the same formula as we discovered when we did the starburst activity. Capital B times H, and remember our units in volume are to the third power. That's because area is units to the second power, and this height is measured in the same units. Units squared times another units would be units to the third power, or units times units times units, units to the third power. Or you can think of this as we have units in three directions, side to side, up and down, and front to back. Using this formula, we're going to find the volume of some prisms here. We've got rectangular prisms and triangular prisms. And in another day, we'll add in cylinders as well. And we'll use the same formula there. Okay, so the very, very first thing, and I hope we have done this enough, when you see a 3D shape, the first thing you do is redraw the base. Redraw the base. And they were very nice, and they have shaded in the base for us. So this is the base. I'm just going to redraw that. I'm going to make a note that my base is a rectangle. And I'm redrawing that. Now, this side I can call 4 meters. And then this part of my base is 3 meters. You can probably tell that we took this little rectangle and stretched it all the way up to this rectangle. Remember that thing that combines the two, or connects, sorry, the two bases, that line is called the height of the prism. So we've got the height of the prism, and our formula calls for the height of the prism and then the area of the base. So I need to find the area of my base. Capital B stands for the area of the base, which happens to be a rectangle. And the area of a rectangle has a formula, base times height. Now, the base and the height for my area have to come from the rectangle we redrew, the base that we redrew. We're not looking at the 3D shape because I want to find the area of the base, so all of my numbers must come from the base. So I can say, instead of base times height, I can say 4 times 3. I'm not using the 10 because that doesn't come from the base, that comes from the prism. So we've got 3 times 4, which is 12. So the area of the base is 12. And we already know what h is, so now I can say that the volume, or capital B times h, capital B, I can say is 12, and h, the height of the prism, we already know is 10, and 12 times 10 is 120, and this is a volume, so our meters need to be cubed. Meters cubed. Give me one moment. Okay, so we've got 120 meters cubed for the volume of this base, or rectangular prism, sorry. Now we'll find the volume of this other rectangular prism. And to find the volume, we need the area of the base times its height, the prism's height, sorry. We have a 3D figure, so the first thing we do is redraw the base. Our base is a rectangle. Our base is a rectangle. So I'm redrawing the rectangle, the one that they've shaded in. So I'm redrawing this rectangle here that I'm outlining. And we can see this part of my base is 5 feet. And this part of my base, not 5, but this part of my base is 8 feet. You can see that the other base is the one on top. And the line connecting those two bases is this line. Or I can say this line connects the two bases. Or this line connects the two bases. This line connects the two bases. That line is 2 feet. So h is 2 feet. Now to find capital B, the area of the base, capital B is the area of the base, which is a rectangle. And the formula for the area of a rectangle is base times height. We're going to get the base and the height numbers from the rectangle that we redrew, because we're finding the area of the base, not an area of a prism. We're finding the area of this shape here. So our numbers have to come from this shape here. The base times the height from this shape here would be 8 times 5, which is 40. Now I can just substitute in what I know about B and H so we can find the volume. Capital B is a 40, so the area of the base I can use as 40 instead of capital B. And then the height of the prism I know is 2, so this is 40 times 2. And 40 times 2 is 80, and we're measuring in feet, so this will be 80 feet to the third power, or cubic feet. Now we're going to look at some triangular prisms. And the good news is, since this is a prism, the volume is the same formula. So I need to know what, to find volume, I need to know what is the area of the base, capital B, and what is the height of the prism, h. I have a 3D figure, so the first thing I should do is redraw the base. Well, the base here is a triangle. So I'm going to redraw that triangle, and I don't think I labeled it, but here's the right angle. So I've got this triangle, and that's the right angle. Now, the side-to-side leg of my right triangle is 5 centimeters. And the up and down leg of my right triangle is 12 centimeters. And it looks like the hypotenuse right here is 13 centimeters. So I've redrawn the base. You can see that the matching base is the triangle that you see in the top. Now the line that connects the bottom triangle to the top triangle is called H. Notice the 13 doesn't go with that line. This line is not 13. From here to here, the 12 goes front to back, not from the bottom to the top. So the 12 also doesn't go with that line. From the bottom triangle to the top triangle, that line is called the height, and that line is 20 centimeters long. So I can say that H is 20 centimeters. I know the height of the prism. Now I have to find the area of the base, capital B. Capital B stands for the area of the base. Well, the area of my base would be the area of a triangle. The formula for the area of a triangle is half base times height. Half base times height. Remember, I'm getting all of my numbers from the triangle that I have redrawn. B and H in this formula are so special because they must make a 90-degree angle. That 90-degree angle is right there. So we can see that 5 and 12 form the right angle. So 5 and 12 are what I'm going to use for B and H. So my new formula for the area, now I've got numbers substituted in, are half times 5 times 12. Half of 12 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30. So the area of the base is 30, not 50. 30 centimeters squared. What that means is I can substitute a 30 wherever I see that capital B because the area of the base is 30. And anywhere I see the lowercase h, I can put a 20 because the height of the prism is 20. That means that the volume of this triangular prism can be found by multiplying 30, the area of the base, and 20, the height of the prism. 30 times 20 is 600, and this would be centimeters cubed. Cubic centimeters, there we go. We've got one more triangular prism. Sorry, my hand is itching. Okay, I've got a 3D figure, and my goal is to find the volume. Well, volume can be found by multiplying the area of the base times the height. So I need to know, well, what is h? And I also have a 3D figure, so I need to redraw the base. I have to redraw the base. The base is a triangle. So I'm going to redraw this triangle and label anything I know about it. I see the bottom edge, the edge that it's sitting on, is 9 yards. And there's a line going through the middle. It forms a right angle, which is not labeled well because the base has been shaded in. But I'll label that right there. That's a right angle. That line is 6 yards. And then the other number that goes with the triangle is whatever's on the slanted sides. 6 times 6 is 24. 24 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6 is 48. 48 times 6 is 54. 54 times 6 is 64. 64 times 6 is 120. 120 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 times 6 is 120. That's an 11. And if this side is 11, we've got this side as 11 as well. And these are yards. Now what that means is that from the front triangle that's shaded in to this back triangle, whatever line connects those two things, that's this line here, represents the height. So I know that the height of this triangular prism is 7 yards. I now know what the height of the prism is. I still have to find the area of the base. Capital B stands for the area of the base. Well, this base is a triangle, so I need to find the area of a triangle. The formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we've got 1/2, and I'm going to get base and height from the triangle. Not from the prism, but from the triangle. I'm not looking at the prism, I'm looking at the triangle, and the two things that make a 90-degree angle are the base and the height. So I'm using 9 and 6. So I've got half times 9 times 6. Half of 6 is 3, and 3 times 9 is 27. So I know that big B is 27. In place of capital B, the area of the base, we can put 27. And in place of the H, the height of the prism, we can put 7. 27 times 7 is 140, and 49 makes 189. You can verify that with a calculator, and we are measuring in yards, so this volume is in yards to the 3rd power, or cubic yards. That is all the content I'm going to post in this video. If you have questions, comments, or concerns about the content in this video, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can send me a Schoology message, you can drop a comment on this video, or you can send me an email, and I will be glad to get back to you as soon as I can.